Scope is the term used to define which computers, mobile devices, or users are being sent management tasks from Jamf Pro. Whether that command is to install an app, receive a configuration profile, or deploy an ebook, scope is needed to ensure the task is delivered to exactly the computer or mobile device that needs it. My name is Zach. Welcome to Device Scope. In Jamf Pro, scope is comprised of three things: targets, limitations, and exclusions. Targets define a population of recipients for a command. Limitations are used to further refine a larger target population down to a specific subsection. Exclusions remove specific computers or mobile devices from the larger initial target population and always override targets and limitations. Of these, only a target is absolutely required. Limitations and exclusions are useful but optional tools to further refine your initial target. Today, we'll focus on targets and exclusions. It's worth noting that scope is functionally the same for both computers and mobile devices. We'll cover examples of both later in this video. As a quick example, say we have 4 computers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all enrolled in Jamf Pro. Some are in different departments and belong to different buildings. Let's say I want to deploy a restrictions profile to these computers that ensures a password is set and file vault is enabled. If I set my scope target to all computers and then save the profile, all 4 computers will receive the profile. However, I know the IT department doesn't need these restrictions, so let's add an exclusion for the IT department. Now, computers 2 and 4 that belong to that department are no longer in scope of the profile. Remember that scope functions in the same way for mobile devices. Say we have a new set of 4 devices, again all belonging to different departments and buildings. I've been tasked with deploying a new Wi-Fi network to our Minneapolis and Eau Claire offices. However, the New York office will have different Wi-Fi settings. If I set the target to all mobile devices, devices that are in different offices will receive an unneeded profile. Instead, we can set multiple buildings as our targets, in this case the Minneapolis and Eau Claire buildings. Now, devices 1, 2, and 4 are correctly targeted. Exclusions will still apply to multiple targets as well. Perhaps I have a few test devices that don't need this new Wi-Fi profile. I can manually add devices as individual exclusions, removing devices 1 and 2 from this scope. Alternatively, if I have a group set up for test devices, I can exclude that group to achieve the same result. Let's take a look at how this works in Jamf Pro. Starting on the dashboard, navigate to Devices, Configuration Profiles. I've prepared a configuration profile that I need to deploy to my devices, containing the new Wi-Fi network for our Minneapolis office. Note that the profile can be configured and saved without a scope set. This can be helpful to prepare and tweak a profile or policy before actually deploying it to any devices. I'm selecting my profile, clicking Edit in the bottom right, and then navigating to the Scope tab at the top. At the top, we see 3 tabs that cover the 3 components of scope we mentioned before: targets, limitations, and exclusions. Let's focus on the Targets tab. If my goal was to deploy this profile to all devices, we could simply change the Target Mobile Devices pop-up menu from Specific Mobile Devices to All Mobile Devices, click Save, and we'd be done. The profile would immediately deploy to every mobile device enrolled in Jamf Pro, as well as any mobile device that I enroll in the future. That doesn't quite fit the use case of this profile, though. We can be more precise. With the pop-up menu changed back to Specific Mobile Devices, let's add a target using the Add button on the right. We are now shown a series of different tabs containing individual mobile devices, groups, buildings, departments, and more. Each of these objects can be added as a scope target. Let's add the Minneapolis building by navigating to the Buildings tab and selecting Add to the right of Minneapolis. Click Done at the top to review our scope before we save the profile and actually deploy it to devices. Everything looks good to me, so I'm saving the profile with the Save button in the bottom right. That's all there is to it. The profile is now deployed to every mobile device assigned to the Minneapolis building in Jamf Pro. Changes can be made to the scope after deployment as well. Perhaps I've been asked to deploy the Wi-Fi network to remote employees as well, in case they make a trip into the office. Click Edit, and again on the Scope tab, let's add the US Remote building. Click Add, navigate to the Buildings tab, and add US Remote. Click Done to review the scope, and since everything looks good, I can save the profile once more. Since we're making a change to an already deployed profile, we're now shown a Redistribution Options dialog asking us whether we want to deploy the profile to all targeted devices or only newly assigned devices. I know my Minneapolis building devices already have this profile, so I don't need to reinstall the profile on all devices and can instead select Distribute to Newly Assigned Devices Only to deploy this profile to just the US Remote devices. Let's look at an example of Scope for computers. Select Computers in the sidebar and navigate to Mac Apps. I've been tasked with deploying the Xcode application to our development team and have the app added to Jamf Pro with some available licenses. Select the app, click Edit in the bottom right, and then navigate to the Scope tab at the top. Since Scope functions in much the same way for computers as it does for mobile devices, this page will look familiar. We have a similar Target Computers pop-up menu that we can select to choose between deploying to all computers and specific computers. Since we're targeting a specific department, let's leave this on specific computers and instead add a target with the Add button below. Navigate to the Departments tab and select the Development Department. Click Done to review our targets. Now, we could just click Save to deploy this app to every computer assigned to the Development Department in Jamf Pro. But what if not all those computers need this development software? What about test computers belonging to the department or managerial staff? In order to not deploy unneeded software, let's filter down our target computer pool with some exclusions. Select the Exclusions tab at the top. Similar to the Targets tab, we have an Add button which we can click to reveal the same tabs of individual computers, groups, departments, and more. Let's select the Groups tab and add the Test Devices and Managers computer groups. Click Done to review the scope. Now we can switch between the Targets and Exclusions tabs to see that we are now targeting all computers that are in the development department and not a member of the Test Devices or Managers groups. Click Save in the bottom right to deploy the software. Scope is an extremely powerful tool in Jamf Pro that you'll become very familiar with as your environment grows. Scope allows you to make large, sweeping actions on many or all of your enrolled devices, or precisely target a few devices for specific deployments. Be sure to check out our videos, configuration profiles, and app management for more practice using Scope. And be sure to visit the Jamf Pro documentation for any questions that might come up as you start scoping your first few deployments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in another video.